Boston University, USA, Monash University, Australia, on Tuesday, 9 July 2019, with a special topic, Establishing the World-Class University. The Honorable Professor Muladi, as the head of Advisory Board of Diponegoro University Alumni Foundation and all the foundation members, the Honorable Mr. Andi Krida Susila as the Rector of Semarang University and all the Vice Rectors. The Honorable Person, Associate Professor Ahmed Gaber, PhD, Associate Professor from Geology Department, Port Said University, Egypt. Associate Professor Magali Coach, PhD, Associate Professor from Boston University, USA. Associate Professor Jennifer Oxley, PhD, Associate Professor from Monash University, Australia. The next is Professor Dr. David Munir, as the Professor from University of Southern Brittany, France. Professor Chin Peng Chu, PhD, as the Professor from National Donghua University, Taiwan. Professor Dr. Ahmad Rozan bin Yunus, as the Professor from University Technical Malaysia Melaka, Malaysia. Datuk Dr. Sabri bin Muhammad Sharif, as the Senior Lecturer from University Technical Malaysia, Melaka, Malaysia. Professor Elena Naumova, as the Professor from Tufts University, USA. Professor Suchi Gopal, PhD, as the Professor from Boston University, USA. The students from Tufts and Boston University, the Dean, Faculty, and Director of Postgraduate Program of Semarang University, and distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, we honor this evening to welcome three special speakers. Professor Muladi, as the Ministry of Defense, Indonesia. Associate Professor Magali Coates from Boston University, USA. And Associate Professor Jennifer Oxley from Monash University, Australia, who will share with us about law and constitutional as the fundamental for international university, research in world-class university for quality improvement, and networking for world-class university. Ladies and gentlemen, before we came to the main session, may we all rise, please. We will sing Indonesia National Anthem together. Please stand up. Thank you very much. Have a seat. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us praise to the God Almighty, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His blessing, we are able to attend this international symposium and gala dinner in Semarang University with a good condition. To lead the prayer session, please welcome Mr. Saiful Hadi. Well, Mr. Saiful, the time is yours.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. هذا الدعاء العربية في هذا المجلس جميعا سمراني. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. حمد الشاكرين حمد الناعمين. حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافي مزيده. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلالك وجه الكريم بعد المصلي. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين وسلم رضي الله تبارك وتعالى عن كل صحابة رسول الله أجمعين. اللهم إنا نسألك الصحة والعافية والسلامة والاستقامة والتوبة والمغفرة وحسن الخاتمة. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم زدنا علما وارزقنا فهما. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع ومن قلب لا يخشى ومن دعاء نستجاب يا الله. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا اجتنابه. اللهم سلم باركنا في عملنا، سلم دنيانا، سلم ديننا، سلم توحيدنا، سلم أخلاقنا، سلم عملنا يا الله. اللهم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، سلمنا يا الله. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وارحمكم ربنا صغارا. اللهم اختم لنا بالإيمان واختم لنا بالإسلام واختم لنا بالسعادة واختم لنا بحسن الخاتمة. اللهم يسر لنا عسر يسر أمورنا وحصل مقاصدنا مقاصدنا والآخرة. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Saiful Hadi. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now opening this ceremony with the welcome remarks and also the opening speech from Semarang University Rector, Mr. Andi Krida Susila. For Mr. Rector, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Greetings to all of us, to the Honorable Professor Dr. Muladi SH. Professor Muladi is the chairman of the Alumni Undip Foundation since 2006, who I respect, Prof. Magali from Boston University, and Associate Professor Jennifer Oxley from Monash University, who I respect Datuk Dr. Sabri bin Muhammad Sarif as a moderator, and of course to all participants of USM International Symposium 2019. I would like to thank God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has been giving us blessing and mercies so we can attend this USM International Symposium 2019 in a good condition. My salawat and salam are always given to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has taught their people respectively in order to gain their happy and prosperous life in this world and hereafter. Then I would like to thank DMC for giving me an opportunity to speak here. Well, I did like to say welcome to all participants of USM International Symposium 2019. Welcome to Semarang University. Semarang University established in 1987. Semarang University is a private higher education institution located in the large city of Semarang, Central Java, officially accredited and or recognized by the Ministry of Research, Technology and Higher Education of the Republic of Indonesia. Semarang University is a large co-educational higher education institution, Unirank enrollment range 15,000 until 20,000 students. Now we have, it's about 20,000 students. Semarang University offers courses and programs leading to the officially recognized higher education degrees in several areas of study. What are the most popular universities in Indonesia? Unirank tries to answer this question by publishing the 2019 Indonesia University ranking of 572 recognized Indonesia higher education institutions meeting the following Unirank selection criteria. 1. Being chartered, licensed, and or accredited by the Associated Indonesia Higher Education related organization. Second, offering at least 4-year undergraduate degrees, bachelor degrees, or postgraduate degrees. And 3, delivering course predominantly in a traditional face-to-face non-distance educational format. Their aim is to provide a non-academic list table of the top Indonesian universities based on valid, unbiased, and non-influenceable web metrics provided by independent web intelligence sources, rather than data submitted by the universities themselves. In 2019, Semarang University's ranking position is 60 by Unirank. Now Indonesia has 4,600 universities. We are in the 60 by Unirank in the ranking position. It's very good for Semarang University. Semarang University will consolidate all its potential in carrying out 3 Dharma perguruan tinggi, 3 pillars of higher education comprising education, research, and community service. The private university is independent and aims at becoming a top-class university that is able to resolve problems and challenges at national and global levels. We want becoming one of the top private university in Indonesia. Semarang University will strengthen the implementation of 3 Dharma perguruan tinggi to take the role as advocate in resolving problems and challenges at the national as well as global levels. Semarang University will develop and utilize 3 Dharma perguruan tinggi in resolving problems and challenges at national as well as global levels and will strengthen its position. So far, our foundation, Prof. Mulaidi, provided the best for our university since 2006. His effort to make our university is to become a better outcome and appeared one of our university get help for infrastructure development and information technology development for our university. We all hope that our university able to get much better than before, and of course, become a favorite university someday. It will make a pride feeling for all the students who study here, lecturers and college role model for citizens of the worldwide university. Hopefully with this occasion, this university could be better and remain the pride of us. Finally, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I will open the USM International Symposium 2019, establishing a world-class university. I think that's all of my speech today. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you get success and prosperity. May Almighty God bless this international symposium and guide us in positive activity. Amin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Rector, for the speech. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we come to the main session. As the moderator for this international symposium today, we have Datu Dr. Sabri bin Muhammad Sarif from UTM, Malaysia. Let me read his fantastic curriculum vitae. Well, Datuk Dr. Sabri bin Muhammad Sharif, he is Senior Lecturer of Innovation Management, Innovation Leadership, and Intellectual Property Commercialization. His areas of interest is intellectual property IP, commercialization, innovation management, technopreneurship, innovation leadership, and public policy. His professional affiliations: advocate and solicitor non-practicing in the High Court of Malaysia, 2003 until now. Sharia lawyer in the Sharia High Court of Malacca, Malaysia, 1999 until now. His academic qualification: PhD, Intellectual Property, Commercialization, and Innovation Management from University Kebangsaan Malaysia, UKM, MBA, Master of Business Administrations from University of Ballarat, Australia. His working experience, May 2018 until now, as Senior Lecturer in Faculty of Technology, Management, and Technopreneurship, University Technical Malaysia, Malacca, UTM, Malaysia. The latest award in 2018, Panglima Mahkota Wilayah, PMW, which carried the official title of Datu awarded by oleh Yang di-Pertuan Agong Malaysia. And the latest book publication in 2019 produced a book module entitled Let's Become Mudapreneur, Personality Traits, Explore, Innovate, Sell, Business Model Canvas and Pitch Canvas, published by UTM Publication. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our moderator, Datuk Dr. Sabri bin Muhammad Sharif. Well, Datuk Dr. Sabri, the time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Before we start our session, I would like to invite our three distinguished keynote speakers. Let me invite Professor Dr. Muladi S. H. M. from Indonesia. Please welcome, Professor. Our second keynote speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Jennifer Oxley from Australia. Please welcome. And last but not least, Associate Professor Dr. Magali Kos from the United States. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good evening. Thank you to our Master of Ceremonies, the Honorable Bapak Professor Dr. Andi Krida Susila, Rector of Semarang University, our distinguished guests, VVIP and VIP, which I cannot mention your name one by one. Our three distinguished keynote speakers. Number one, Professor Dr. Muladi S. M. from Indonesia. Give a round of applause to him. Second one, Associate Professor Dr. Jennifer Oxley from Australia. And last but not least, Associate Professor Dr. Magali Kosh from the United States. And not forgetting the honorable members of the audience, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin this session, allow me to recite a poem or a pantun in bahasa Melayu. Kapal dagang dari seberang, syarat muatan kayu meranti. Dari jauh bapak-bapak dan ibu semua datang, sama-sama kita berkongsi ilmu membangun universiti. Let me paraphrase it in English. Welcome to the International Symposium establishing a world-class university. Ladies and gentlemen, more than 50 years ago, Bapak Sukarno, a great independent leader of Nusantara or even the world, and the former first president of Indonesia said, and I quote, "Raise your ambitions to the stars, dream as high as the skies, at least when you fall, you will fall among the stars." After 50 years, Indonesia has developed tremendously. According to consultancy firm McKinsey, in 2012, Indonesia is expected to be the world's 7th largest economy in 2030. PwC predicted that out of 32 leading countries, Indonesia will be the 5th largest global economy by 2030. The Economist Intelligence Unit in its research predicted that Indonesia will be the 4th largest economy by 2050. More recently, Compass.com reported that Standard Chartered PLC, as reported by Bloomberg, predicted that by 2030, Indonesia will become the 4th largest economic force in the world behind China, the US, and India. Based on these indicators, the time has come for Indonesia to raise its ambitions of developing its value human resources, its more than 250 million people, by focusing on nurturing talented teachers, lecturers, researchers, and students to be more educated, knowledgeable, skilled, and competent so as to be more competitive, as well as raising the bar of its universities to become world-class institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, according to Philip Alberts, the director of the Center for International Higher Education at Boston College, who wrote a much-quoted paper, The Costs and Benefits of World-Class Universities, which was published in 2003 in the journal International Higher Education. Every country wants world-class universities. No country feels it can do without one. The problem is that no one knows what a world-class university is, and no one has figured out how to get one. Because of this, Associate Professor Jun Lin from the Chinese University of Hong Kong wrote a paper published in the journal Prospect in 2012 that the very concept of world-class university is still ambiguous, uncertain, and contested, varying from one context to the next. Because of this, we need to raise a few questions. Firstly, how do we define a world-class university? Secondly, what are the prerequisites of becoming a world-class university? Thirdly, what are the KPI, key performance indicators, that needed to be attained to become a world-class university? Fourthly, is it correct to assume that the pursuit of 3R, that is revenue, ranking, and reputation, could potentially turn our institution into a world-class university? Fifth, if we continue to focus on chasing KPIs and 3R, what happens to value such as integrity and ethics, which should be at the heart of a university strength? These are some of the arising questions which require answering, and I'm confident that our speakers tonight are able to enlighten us further on this subject. Ladies and gentlemen, for everyone's information, each speaker is given 15 minutes for their respective presentation. I will pass a small note as a gentle reminder at the 15 minutes, that is 1 minute before winding up their speech, and I will pass a second note to indicate the end of this session. With the end of all 3 presentations, we will open to the floor for 20 minutes questions and answers session for the audience to pose further questions to our speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, As the Malay proverb says, tak kenal maka tak cinta. To know is to love. Tonight, allow me to introduce our first speaker. Reading his CV makes me feel somewhat underachieving. So we are honored to have such an eminent personality to share his knowledge with us. Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker is Professor Dr. Muladi SH.MH. Give a round of applause to him. Bapak Professor Dr. Muladi was born in Solo, Indonesia on the 26th of May 1943. Bapak Professor Muladi was the former Governor of National Resilient Institute of Republic Indonesia from 2005 to 2011. Bapak Professor was the former Justice Minister as well as Minister of State Secretary of Republic Indonesia. Before his ministerial appointment, he was director at Universitas Diponegoro. He also previously headed the Institute for Democracy and Human Rights at the Habibie Center, Jakarta. He's also well known for his struggle for the truth and his quest to fight injustices and uphold human rights. As a student, he was an active member of Anggota Gerakan Mahasiswa Nasional Indonesia (GMNI) around 1963 till 1968. Actually, there is so much more to him than I could share in such a short time. What I do find interesting was that Bapak Professor was an exponent of karate and judo, holding a black belt and even representing the nation as a judo athlete. This one not in the script, I got it from the internet. I believe it is true. Currently, he's also a professor of criminal law and human rights in several universities and police higher education. And he's now the founder and head of the governing board of Diponegoro University Alumni Foundation, Semarang University. He has also served the Ministry of Defense Indonesia. Now, allow me to invite the Honorable Professor Dr. Muladi SH.MH to present his keynote entitled Law and Constitution as a Fundamental for World-Class University. Please welcome and give a round of applause to Bapak Professor Muladi SH.MH.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Sabri bin Muhammad, as a moderator, for your willingness to introduce all my experience. The title of my paper is An Indonesian Perspective of Achieving World-Class University Qualification. It's not it's formal on behalf of my government, but it's my personal analysis. Honorable Member of Executive Board of the Diponegoro University Alumni Foundation, and Honorable Professor Priyo Pindoro, Member of Supervisory Board of Diponegoro University Alumni Foundation, Honorable Mr. Andi Krida Susilo, Rector of Semarang University, Honorable Professor Macaulay Koch from Boston University, USA, Honorable Professor Jennifer Oxley from Monash University, Australia, Honorable Professors, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to welcome everybody, and I would like to extend my gratitude to all of you for attending and participate in today's symposium with captivating issues regarding building the world-class university. I'm very pleased and feel honored that I've been given an opportunity to convey issues regarding WCU qualification. Being a former rector of Diponegoro State University in Semarang, allow me to express my personal thoughts concerning the issues of world-class university from the perspective of actual condition in Indonesia. My concept related to WCU is generated from the opinions of experts and the experiences of several prominent state universities in Indonesia, along with their respective matters in question. In addition, I have made an effort to formulate a recommendation on the future intermediate strategic plans or target. The qualified as WCU through institutions such as Times Higher Education, Academic Ranking of World University, or Weibometrics, is the ultimate dream of a university in every country, including Indonesia, either the state university or private universities. This is due to the fact that, first, world-class university status will be closely related to various quality of pillars, which eventually, collectively, together with other pillars, will determine the global competitiveness index of a nation, which is published annually by the World Economic Forum since 2004 in the form of Global Competitiveness Index, which is based on 12 pillars of competitiveness in the form of higher education and training. In this regard, Richard Levin, president of Yale University, 2006, stated, "Never before in their long history, universities have become instruments for national competition." Second, concern for the status of a world-class university cannot be separated from the so-called Human Development Index of a nation, which is published by the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. One of them is the Program for International Student Assessment, PISA, scores in mathematics, reading, and science. Third, another factor that demands a standard of quality and global standard of higher education is the phenomenon of multidimensional globalization, which needs individual mastery to support based on standardized science and technology in teaching, research, employability, and internalization. Fourth, from the point of view of particular national ideology of Indonesia, another rational argument for achieving WCU status is related to one of the Indonesian national goals expressed in the preamble of the 1945 State Constitution of Republic of Indonesia. It said to improve public welfare and educate the life of the nation. In this case, the law on higher education, law number 12, 2012, also affirms that the function of higher education is also related to increasing the faith and devotion to God and noble character in order to educate the nation's life and advance science and technology, values religion and national unity for the advancement of civilization and the welfare of mankind, in addition to increasing national competitiveness. And fifth, furthermore, an outstanding quality of higher education also correlates with the awareness of the promotion and protection of human rights. Right everyone to the education, and both universally regulated in International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Cultural Rights, 1966, and nationally adopted in the 1945 State Constitution of Republic of Indonesia, that in order to fulfill basic needs, humans have the right to education and benefit from science and technology, art and culture, in order to improve their quality of the life and for the welfare of mankind. Ladies and gentlemen, taking into account the various instrumental inputs and environmental inputs above, both nationally and globally, which places a strategic position of higher education, there will be no excessive things, image, if the quality education system or higher education system is required, both substantive, structural, and cultural, such as the system of WCU. Dilemma of the problem of choice that is difficult for higher education to deal with in developing countries is related to the stringent requirements that should be fulfilled to acquire WCU status or qualification, which includes, according to Henry Levin, Columbia University, first, the excellence of research, academic freedom, and an atmosphere of intellectual excitement, self-governance, facilities and funding, and diversity. Second is internationalization, students, scholars, and faculty from abroad, democratic leadership. The third, a talented undergraduate body, the use of ICT of management library, and fourth, quality of teaching, connection with society, the community needs, and the last one is institutional collaboration. We said that QSWUR indicates issues as follows: graduate employability, academic peer review, employer's review, faculty-student ratio, papers per faculty, citation per paper, international faculty, inbound exchange, and outbound exchange. And then academic reputation and productivity. WCU characteristic can as well be related to what is called by alignment of key factors, which create interaction between graduate research output and technology transfer within university as follows. First, abundant resources, public budget resources, endowment revenues, tuition fees, research grants. The second is concentration of talent, students, teaching staff, researchers, and internationalization. And third, favorable governance. This is very important. Supportive regulatory framework, autonomy, academic freedom, leadership, strategic vision, culture of excellence. A lot of criticism toward the stringent and complex requirement related to the qualification of WCU, especially due to the prominence of multinational corporation approach, influenced by the background of institutional report responsible of WCU ranking and the domination of natural and exact sciences standard, much more than social humanities science standard. In practice of accreditation to become WCU. It is universally admitted that the impacts of status of WCU ranking are very, very significant. Gained based on values of credibility, objective, transparent, and accountable. The strategic impacts are as follows. One is reputation, and then global visibility. Global visibility. Excuse me. Global visibility, then the third is ability to attract academics and students, to inform choices, ability to attract funding, international partners, staff and student morale, marketing tool for institution, and then guide identification of international partners. For example, based on the publication of the DES 2019, the 5 Indonesian state universities are ranked in the world's best university, also in the big number. And meanwhile, for the Asia Pacific level in 2019, Universitas Indonesia and the other university, five university also ranked in Asia, rank of world-class university. Also, QS World University Ranking 2019. There are about 70 universities. Indonesia has achieved Asia QS World Ranking. Additionally, concerning to the ranking of Indonesian university and QS AUR, QS Asia University Ranking 2015 shows the following sequence: UI, ITB, UGM Jogja, UNER Surabaya, UNPAD Pajajaran Bandung, and IPB, Undip, also UMS, Unibro, and Udayana in Bali. And ranking indicator used by QS academic university ranking includes academic reputation, employer reputation, faculty-student ratio, paper per faculty, citation per paper, international faculty, international students, inbound exchange and outbound exchange. The challenges and dilemma, difficult choice between the two alternatives of WCU qualification is reflected in what the Philips Albach said. He points as follows: putting too much stress on attaining WCU status may harm an academic system. It may divert energy and resources from more important and perhaps more realistic goals. It may focus too much on building a research-oriented and elite university at the expense of expanding access or serving national needs. I think this is a very important statement. I want to talk about the condition in Indonesia. At present, the universities and colleges in Indonesia facing challenges in the form of environmental inputs, including first the ratio students lecturers, and then index international journal publication. The third is internationalization, fourth is limited resources, and fifth is inadequate governance, and sixth is the total of university institution is large and spread over a wide area with a very significant quality gap. Currently, in 2018, the number of state universities in Indonesia is 120, and there are about 2,128 private universities spread across 24 provinces with 17 and 500 large and small islands. then gradually, structurally, and carefully examining the WC indicators, research quality, gradually quality, teaching quality, and international outlook. And analyzing the experiences of prominent universities in Indonesia, which are included in the WC ranking. The structural dimension. Also preparing excellent quality of human resources, and then realistically formulating goals, improving the existing academic quality, increasing the quality and the quantity and quality of the critical amount of higher education, which comprises three pillars of higher education, comprehensive education, research and community service, and then building international and national university cooperation and collaboration, data and information networks, exchanging of protocols, academic needs review, joint publication, joint research, joint supervision, external exchange, and guest lecture, and then exchanging of students, intensifying the role of information office at universities, and the service cultural dimension is very, very important for awareness of improving systematically and gradually the academic culture and college life, international environment, in accordance with the government standard, structure, substance, and culture, and then awareness of spreading foreign graduates and diaspora through effective research system study, and then awareness of establishing program to enhance the strategy, the number of partners and roster, the awareness of establishing international classes, increasing international scientific publication, journal, research, and partnership, intensifying effort to develop international student interest, and then fighting for equality in managing and fostering state and private university, then improving the role of private sector to give assistance to the greater quality of higher education, either state or private university, then building up the reputation of university, excellence in teaching, research, and dissemination of our university. Without the limitation, state and private university in Indonesia, individually and collectively, must look at the existing reality. This should go hand in hand, facilitating coordination and fostering collaboration. The strategic steps should be taken systematically, away from fragmented and ad hoc, impromptu and artificial. Regarding this problem, Professor Peter Sain, senior lecturer at MIT, in his book, The Fifth Discipline, The Art and Practice of the Learning Organization, provides advice and suggestion, and state that for the progress of each organization, managers must obey to write the principle first, personal mastery, discipline of continually clarifying and building our personal vision, of focusing our energy, of developing visions, and of seeing reality objectively. Second, mental model, actively integrate assumption, generalization, or even picture of images that influence how we understand the world and how we take action. So it's about the building shared vision, a practice of converting shared practice of the future that foster genuine commitment and enrollment neutrality and compliance. Fourth is team learning starts with dialogue, the capacity of members of a team to suspend assumption and enter into genuine thinking together. And the last one is system thinking. System thinking, the fifth discipline that integrate the other four. We call this integrative mechanism. Besides those five disciplines, I would like to emphasize the important role of unity of guidance and command led by Ministry of Research, Technology, and Higher Education. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you very much, Bapak Profesor Dr. Muladi S.R.M.H. for your keynote speech. Your explanation on law and constitution as the fundamental for establishing world-class universities not only has broadened our mind and thinking, but make us also feel safe here when you manage to defend your subject matter very well. Ladies and gentlemen, now let me invite our second speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Jennifer Oxley from Monash University. Associate Professor Dr. Jennifer Oxley is a Deputy Director, Curtin Monash Accident Research Center, or CMARC, and Associate Director, Graduate Research at the Monash University Accident Research Center, MUARC 2015. Associate Professor Dr. Jennifer holds a PhD in Psychology and has expert as an academic in applied health sciences. Her main research interests are in injury prevention and trauma management and applying human factors psychology to determine the contributing factors to crash and injury risk. She also has a keen research interest in injury and health outcomes following involvement in traffic crashes, assessment of road user performance, as well as evaluations of educational program and technology interventions. During her time with MUARC, Associate Professor Dr. Jennifer has made a significant contribution to vulnerable road user safety and is responsible for managing major projects in the area of assessment of risk of learner and novice drivers, elderly road users, child pedestrian and cyclists, human factors and safety issues relevant to ITS technologies, and development of innovative measures to improve safe mobility. Without further delay, I invite Associate Professor Dr. Jennifer Oxley from Monash University to present a keynote entitled Establishing World-Class Research Centers that Work in Partnership with Government and Industry Sectors. Please welcome and give a round of applause to her.
Selamat malam dan terima kasih. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Datuk, for that lovely introduction. And thank you to USM and the conference organisers for giving me the opportunity to present some of the work that we do in Australia on injury prevention and road safety. Now, I do apologise for my slide with the title. It's not exactly what Datuk said, but I forgot, sorry. But I do really want to talk about our experiences in building a world-class international research centre in road safety. So I won't be talking about building a university as a whole, but I wanted to use my experience in being involved in building our research centre. So can I have the next slide, please? Sorry, I can do that. Okay, so before I touch on our centre and what we've done in road safety in the last 30 or so years, I just thought I wanted to introduce you to the issues of road trauma. It certainly has been identified as a major public health issue worldwide. I guess just a question to you all, who is driving here in Semarang and in Indonesia? Hands up who drives or rides a motorbike? Okay, how safe do you feel on Indonesia's roads? I guess Indonesia is one of our countries that we really need to work in to bring the road trauma down. If you look at the iceberg at the top there, it really shows that if we talk about fatalities, it really is only the tip of the iceberg. However, if we look at fatalities every single day around the world, 3,500 people die on our roads. That is equivalent to one person every 6 seconds. Now, if you think about that, let's count to 6 seconds. Okay, one person has died. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, another person has died. So it really is a major public health issue. Road-related deaths and injuries are the 8th leading cause of death for people of all ages. And it's the #1 cause of death for children and young adults aged up to 29 years. So we're killing and injuring our youngest people of our families and our communities. The research also tells us that if we're going to do anything about global road safety, we really need to look at our low and middle income countries. Over 90% of our deaths and serious injuries occur in these countries. And of course, associated with the death and disabilities, there's enormous economic, social and community costs surrounding road deaths and serious injuries. Estimated to be approximately $518 billion every year. And this graph up the top there also notes that by the year 2030, road fatalities and serious injuries will cost the world $24 trillion. So we're talking about a lot of money that's wasted, but it can be preventable. In Indonesia alone, there are 12 deaths per 100,000 population each year. And this is about 3 or 4 times higher than the best performing countries in the world. Okay, so let's turn to what we can actually do in terms of road safety. And I guess historically, certainly in Western countries and high-income countries over the last 30 or 40 years, it was really, road safety was seen as the province of government-appointed coalitions. So really not a combined partnership between community groups, governments working together, and the road traffic engineers. And much of the work that we were doing 20 or 30 years ago was really quite reactive. Small scale, isolated, fragmented types of countermeasures, largely directed at just the symptoms to fix a problem, non-systematic, and really not evidence-based. And this really did result in ineffective actions. We weren't really making a lot of gains 30 to 40 years ago. Plus, we didn't really have very good target setting, and the targets that we did set were quite crude measurements. However, we see a different picture today in terms of road safety efforts, and it all really comes down to the science of safety and injury prevention. And that now is at the forefront of road safety management, which is a great thing. And I think this has really led to good practice and effective approaches. And many countries around the world really operate now within a systems approach to road safety and injury prevention. So we're talking about having that research behind us for the evidence, making sure that planning is strategic, it's data-driven, and it really is looking at the major problems to address. It's more proactive and setting objective but ambitious targets. And really just having that really good focus on effective implementation of programs, but also evaluating these sorts of programs. And another major thing is that we need to have institutional cooperation and coordination. So, moving on. I don't know where to point this. Here we go. Okay, so most of high-income countries have developed frameworks for road safety management, and this pyramid really sets out the interrelated elements that should be adopted in a good road safety management system. And these include things like, down at the bottom, we have our really good institutional management functions, our good best practice, evidence-based intervention, and of course at the top we have our outcomes and results. So we really need an integrated and accountable response to these system elements. Okay, so let's now turn to the role of road safety research in addressing road safety and bringing those deaths and serious injuries down. I think the evidence worldwide does suggest that the key to active, sustained reductions in road traffic injuries is firstly for countries to have a long-term vision and strategy for road safety, and that is bound and time-bound objectives based on the best possible evidence. So when we talk about road safety research, we're talking about the study of the road traffic system with the fundamental aims of identifying appropriate strategy benchmarks and developing, implementing and evaluating the most effective ways to reduce deaths and serious injuries. But I guess another role that research institutes can play is to providing the evidence base is to develop that research capacity nationally and internationally. We need new leaders in road safety to sustain the ongoing efforts to bring those deaths and serious injuries down. And there's also evidence to suggest that the outcomes of road safety research are much greater than the costs of conducting such research and implementing road safety measures based on research findings. So we really need to understand what the research is, prevent injuries so that those costs don't blow out if there are too many injuries. So what do we need to do for road safety research programs? I guess we need to look at the policy decisions for effective road traffic injury prevention programs, and they need to be based on reliable data and validated evidence that works, of what works and what doesn't work, and ensuring that the quality and the reliability is of high standard, not only of the data collected, but also the methods and the instruments that we use to collect and analyse that information. So also I think that the research is telling us that from many countries that have good road safety records it's really important to have at least one, preferably independent, sorry if this microphone's not great, an adequately funded national or provincial organisation that undertakes road safety research for governments to use to develop their policies and programs. Okay, sorry, I think I've already talked to that one. Okay, so let's talk about the Victorian experience. My centre, MUARC, has been involved with our government departments for 30 years. And you can see back in the late 1960s, early 1970, we really had a peak of road deaths on our roads in Australia, or in Victoria, sorry, of over 1,000 people. But since then, our centre was established, and we worked very hard with our governments to introduce a range of interventions that have worked, and we've seen now a steady decrease in the number and rates of fatalities and serious injuries over the last 30 or 40 years. So my centre was actually established in 1987. There was a little bit of work before it was established, but it was really established by a partnership between the key stakeholders in our Victorian government agencies, key stakeholders in road safety, and a couple of the faculties at Monash University, predominantly the Faculty of Medicine and Psychology and the Faculty of Engineering. And so they, in their wisdom, felt that it would be a good thing to create a university-based independent institution to pioneer research into injury and trauma. And initially, our centre was really to undertake research into issues related to Victoria's road safety policy formulation. However, today we now see our centre sorry, oh, here we go. Okay, so today MUAC is Australia's and one of the world's largest and leading, most recognised institution in road safety and injury prevention research. We undertake high impact research, and it really is underpinned by scientific and academic excellence, of which our university demands us to do. We don't sit in any faculties. We are separate to faculties, and we need to be that in road safety. We need to be multidisciplinary. So we have groups of engineers, groups of behavioural scientists, statisticians, medical professionals, epidemiologists, information technology experts, industrial design, and so on. We also have state-of-the-art research tools, and we're very lucky to have that support from our university and from our partners. So we have a simulator, virtual reality facilities. We have lots of instrumented vehicles, living laboratories, crash investigations, immersive visualizations, human modelling, and the like, so that all those research platforms really help us to undertake the research that we need to. We are self-funded. We have baseline funding from our governments, but of course that's not quite enough. So we're always looking for more, and we certainly do a lot of contract work, and we engage in national and international competitive grants. We also undertake collaborations, and I think this is really important, from other research around the university, but other researchers from national and international universities and road safety groups. So this is our research strategic plan, and I don't necessarily need you to read all of that. It's quite small, but I guess our vision is simple. It's for an injury-free society. We want to create safe and resilient solutions to local and global challenges in terms of injury prevention. And our main strategies are to have excellence. We want to be enterprising, international, and inclusive. And these strategies absolutely follow these strategies of our university as a whole. So, just in summary. Okay, so if we're really looking to achieving successes in road safety, we do need strong political leadership, successful collaborations and partnerships between a research centre, universities, and key stakeholders in government sectors. We need clear frameworks for road safety management, visions, targets, and strategies. And we absolutely need to have the evidence base and make sure that our policies and programs are scientifically sound. And that's where our research comes in. So our research, we need to be committed to making sure we have relevant and high quality transport safety research. We need sustained funding to do that. We like to think of ourselves as road safety champions, and we assist our governments and NGOs to do their job. And I guess most of our research is really applied, so it's really translating that research evidence into policies and practices that are effective. And as I said before, our other commitment to road safety is to create the future leaders of road safety efforts. So thank you very much, and I'll leave it there.
Thank you very much to Associate Professor Dr. Jennifer Oxley for enlightening us on this topic on building an international research center in road safety. Among the ways she explained to us, among the ways in achieving success in road safety are through strong political leadership, commitment, and clear frameworks for road safety management, or RSM. Ladies and gentlemen, and now we will hear from the third speaker. If our second speaker hail from neighboring Australia, this time our final speaker comes from the land of Uncle Sam, the US. Our final speaker is Associate Professor Dr. Magley Cost from Boston University, USA. Our third speaker is a very accomplished and respected academic. Dr. Magley Cost is a geologist specialized in the application of remote sensing and geographic information system in the study of groundwater resources and environmental change of arid lands. She has conducted research on the estimation of the groundwater potential of the Red Sea Hills of Eastern Sudan, to evaluation of the geomorphic effects of the Gulf War in Kuwait using pre- and post-war satellite images. Third, characterization of wetland degradation processes in Spain, and assessment of flash flood potential of ephemeral rivers Wadi in Egypt, Oman, and United Arab Emirates. Dr. Coates graduated from University of Cologne, Germany in 1986 with a MSc in geology, a PhD research on the use of remote sensing in groundwater studies was undertaken at Boston University, USA, and completed in 1993. Subsequently, she was awarded a Marie Curie Fellowship by the European Union to undertake postdoctoral research at the Earth Science Institute, CSIC, Barcelona, Spain. Her current post is that of Research Professor at the Remote Sensing Center, Research Associate Professor at the Remote Sensing Center, Boston University, Boston, Massachusetts, USA. Allow me to invite our final keynote speaker tonight, Associate Professor Dr. Magley Koch from Boston University, USA, to deliver a keynote entitled Building World University Capability Through Collaborative Networks of Networks. Please welcome and give a round of applause to her.
So I decided not to come alone. I brought my own audience just to secure enough applause. Thanks. So thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you to the organizers of this conference, and thank you to the rector, Professor Andy, and of course one of the founding fathers of this university. And it's always a pleasure to come back to Indonesia because of the incredible hospitality, friendliness, and generosity of the people of Indonesia. So I heard from a colleague here in Indonesia that this is my third home. I'm not sure what my second home is, but I hope to find out. My first home is back home. Okay, so I was asked to talk a little bit about building a world-class university, and I asked, what exactly do you want me to say? And so the person I was talking to obviously knows my background, so suggested that I should talk from my own experience. which is actually to create and enable the collaboration at an international level, but beyond that, actually to create and build networks of people collaborating. And I do that internationally. So I think we all agree that, let's see, I managed to, okay, so I think you have to point this way. And that's too much, that's one back. Okay, thanks. Is this the second slide? Okay, okay. So I think we all agree that universities worldwide are seeking to achieve and maintain the status of world-class institutions for many reasons. The most common reason are to improve their quality of education, of course, attain a high reputation and status, increase research activities and impact, and internationalize their campuses. So basically, they are eager to, welcome foreign students and have them mingle with their own domestic students and help to create a very international atmosphere on their campus. And they do that all over. Doesn't matter whether it's United States, Europe, Australia, or here. And so the most common reason to improve the quality in education and internationalize the campuses is to secure a high position in the list of ranking, world-class university or world university ranking. So everybody is eager to achieve the highest position. So what determines the ranking of a university? In general, there's a consensus that investment in raising the quality of faculty, basically enabling them to get the, to be well prepared and to allow them to keep that high level of standard by attending conferences, so on, and interacting with colleagues domestically as well as internationally. That's obviously a good investment for a university. At the same time, providing opportunities to, very academically gifted students by giving them scholarships and so on. Increasing funds, basically for teaching and research facilities. So investing in infrastructure, that's another, common. I think we all agree that that's beneficial. Providing opportunities to academically, strengthening international collaborations with other universities and research centers or institutions. And all this will lead to increase the visibility of the university and hopefully will help them to, achieve a high position in that ranking. And that ranking is important because that's the way you attract students, domestically as well as international. However, in a time when competitiveness in higher education is rising, the question is how best to achieve this goal. Investment in research and teaching infrastructure is obviously important, but not always affordable by especially many countries, in the developing world or that don't have the resources to invest so much in their own infrastructure. Thus, there are some important questions that universities should explore in their strategic planning to achieve world-class status. So with limited sources or resources, how do you still achieve a high position in that ranking? All right. This seems to be, okay, stop there. So in recent years, we are witnessing increasing investment in general, worldwide. I'm talking about, in general. We are witnessing increasing investment in science, energy, and technology education, by other nations, which are contributing to establishment of a rich community of research excellence. So worldwide, we're seeing that a lot of investment goes into building, highly funded research centers. This is a source of knowledge that can be potentially tapped by higher education institutions with fewer resources through appropriate collaborative mechanism. So they exist, and we live nowadays in a well-connected world. A possible mechanism to promote networks of networks in the country, so domestically as well as abroad, with the goal to leverage expertise, data facilities, and other resources to stimulate and advance training and research activities is at the reach of many countries. So what factors should the university consider in determining training and research areas of focus? Okay. A simple answer is to look at the workforce needs of a particular country, which are required to support its economic growth, promote technological advancement, and ensure environmental sustainability. So while capacity building is a significant goal, it is not the only factor that enables a university to achieve the status of world-class university. There are other factors. For example, scientific challenges with international dimensions. They often require multidisciplinary teams with access to state-of-the-art research facilities. One example I know very well because it's from my own field in remote sensing is related to big data from space. So we have nowadays, I think, around 1,500 Earth observing satellites taking measurements. So that's 1,500, not 150. Some of them are no longer, active. They have been retired. But this is generating massive spatial-temporal Earth observation data to detect, monitor, and assess in almost real time what's going on the surface, Earth's surface. For example, geohazards threatening coastal areas, especially in areas with high population density and infrastructure, for example, in Southeast Asia. So what do we do with all this data? The complexity of the problem demands coordinated research activities by multiple experts from different disciplines with access to research facility sharing. And the emphasis is on sharing. So facilitating the collaboration between different types of fields, ones that may well have different approaches to work, collaborate, knowledge generation, norms and standards could be very rewarding. And now, in the times we are living, where open data access and also open tool, access is becoming more and more, or it's being promoted, and the technology is there to actually, it's at the reach of many countries. We should take advantage of that. And this is what many funding institutions have realized, not only in the United States, also in Europe and other countries. Well, I'll leave it right now there. So in the US, the National Science Foundation recognized this need and has recently launched a program to support new and strengthening existing linkages among national and international networks of research institutions to accelerate the progress of scientific discovery. And here we have sort of a description of what they understand, or what many funding institutions or funding agencies understand by networks of networks. So it's basically a group of investigators who communicate and coordinate, their ideas and come up with an approach that is looking at the problem from multiple angles. And this type of activity also is enriches the learning experience of our students. Like a good example is my current project, where I'm basically bringing US students together with my colleagues here to Indonesia to place them in a foreign laboratory or research center, and to learn from the people, the researchers here, what their problems are, what they're investigating, and how they're doing it, and just to kind of get outside of their own zone of comfort in their respective campuses, and see, you know, how do people deal here with all these problems they maybe read about it or saw it, you know, in videos or so on, and how, you know, how to actually learn from this experience, and also learn to communicate with, you know, fellow students or their foreign mentors. So the NSF realizes that this is an important program, and it seeks to prepare the next generation of US students, postdoctoral students, early career researchers to conduct and lead multi-team international collaboration. So they realize that they don't have the money to actually, you know, produce and build all these very costly laboratories, or, you know, where very costly experiments need to be run. So why don't we share resources internationally? But we need to prepare our students to actually know how to reach out, know how to make these connections, and then also we need to give them the opportunity to learn how to communicate their needs and understand kind of the culture. And I'm here not talking about the country culture, but the culture of maybe a foreign institution, and how to fit basically in that atmosphere. So multidisciplinary team building efforts could be promoted by funding programs that enable research exchange visits, data collection and sharing facilities, joint fieldwork, laboratory access, training workshops, and international seminars, workshops to incubate new ideas and disseminate results. We all know this. But all involved parties should seek funding from their respective funding agency. It shouldn't come only from one particular, you know, country's funding agency. It should be really a collaborative effort to seek for grants, and that will really ensure that this is a truly not only multidisciplinary, but multinational collaboration. So training and research topics, however, should be well defined and well aligned. So it's very important that in order to be able to win grants, that these collaborators share a vision of scientific goals to be achieved by the networks of network. So I always say that you know, it's hard to come up with a shared vision when you have all, you know, experts from all these different disciplines, and also with maybe different agendas, but just to nail it down to a very, you know, important goal or vision, it can serve as an umbrella, and individual groups can have their own separate goals, but they should fit in within this overall vision. So activities also should be designed to build trust and provide clear incentives for networks to share data. Data sharing requires not only trust, but also sort of a protocol of how it should be done, and in a safe and reliable manner. Okay? Well, whenever, the last slide. In summary, Okay. All right, well, I skipped one. So in summary, there are four main factors that are essential for implementing a successful collaborative environment, and I'm stressing the word collaborative environment. So number one, growing scientific capacity should be one goal. Everyone should share. Training and human resource enhancement, promoting your own human resources. Sharing of technology, data, and equipment. And number four, facilitating the ability of researchers to work with others from a quite different but relevant discipline or field. So a university should consider these when they come up with their strategic planning. By incorporating such ideas in the strategic planning of a university, they will be able to leverage on expert knowledge across different countries and access sophisticated resources across networks of networks with the goal to truly become a world university. Thank you. Sorry for...
Thank you very much to Associate Professor Dr. Magali Koch for bringing home the message of enhancing networking or collaborative networks as a means of developing a world-class university. Ladies and gentlemen, now I open to the floor for Q&A session. So I request you to identify your name, country of origin and organization. Pose your question in a straightforward manner to the speaker of your choice. We will open to the floor and get a maximum of 3 or 4 questions from the floor to get the ball rolling. Please, welcome.
I have a question for all of you speakers, which is the question of, you're talking about the present state of the university. We already see changes happening. The university of today is not the university of even the next 3 years. And universities have to be not just centers for learning, they have to be centers for innovation, entrepreneurship, and we need to also not just emphasize STEM, but also creative thinking, because we are all going to be replaced by AI bots. You see artificial intelligence all taking over in terms of many of the processes that we humans do, even for data. So I want you to comment on what you think for the future of the university, of this kind of collaborative university that you're talking of is very good. Things are so rapidly changing. I want you to comment on it, including
Your name, please? Your name, Professor? Suchiko. Any of the speakers want to answer it first? Yeah, okay.
You left us speechless. We don't know what to say. No, but I know where you're getting to. It's technology, basically, taking over, no? But I think that the new generation, they're basically born with technology. I think the emphasis is how you use the technology. And I'm not sure if you agree, but I think that technology is becoming more and more affordable. It doesn't matter where you are, but you are referring to how to use that in order to be innovative or create new discovery, right? I still think that we need to make sure that we learn how to communicate across cultures. And technology is just a tool or mean to help us to develop ideas. So in a way, I'm not sure if you're referring to you know, the communication part of it, or...
Not emphasizing technology. Technology is just going to be one of those things that facilitate this path of journey. It's going to be somewhat more automated. Our structures of learning has to change.
Okay.
What we teach on a campus has to change. We've got to be more creative in terms of how we teach. Our students have to start learning to think. And it's not the more traditional forms of formal learning that we practice for 20 centuries.
So are you talking about critical thinking? Yeah, well, that I mean, to me, that's, yes, has to be emphasized in school before they even go to university, that's clear.
Schools is not the emphasis. It has to be in the university.
Well,
Okay. Any other question, please, from the floor? Yes. Please tell your name, your organization, and pose your question to the speakers of your choice.
Okay, my name is Joan Hestikita Purwasi. I come from Universitas Negeri Malang, East Java. I will ask to three speakers about how kriteria quality research. Bagaimana kriteria penelitian yang berkualitas. Okay. We know that university is one of institutions to develop our country. First, by research. A lot of funding research in Indonesia by internal or external university doing a lot of lecture, but the research just do basic research, not follow, not really real action after research. A lot of research collaboration also a lot of opportunity research collaboration also in Indonesia, but after result of the research is not have action in their country. So how about three speakers give a maybe suggestion how research result can give what is it? Give manfaat, a benefit for the country. Okay, makasih.
can I ask you something? Are you talking about basically research, I mean investment in sending someone abroad and then getting trained and then coming back and not basically not returning that that investment? I mean in the educational, I'm just trying to understand the question.
Yeah, actually the question, how does research can give benefits to the country?
Yes, that's I mean.
To the country?
Yeah, to the country. Yeah.
Well,
to both country.
Yeah,
Maybe not only Indonesia, but your country, if we will do research collaboration.
you're okay, so what's the benefit?
Yes.
The mutual benefit.
Mutual benefits, and then how the result of research collaboration can act really act can give the benefits. The benefits can really do for not only one country but both country.
Okay. So, well, each country obviously has their own desires or own, you know, set of goals, and they don't have to be equal, because, you know, are based on the situation in the country, whether it's an economic situation or it doesn't have to be economic situation, could be environmental problems they're facing. So each country has their own set of, you know, goals, and if you want a wish list of what they want to accomplish, especially when they're not only training their students but also you know, carrying out research and hoping to generate very innovative technologies or ideas or so on. So each country has, of course, their own, you know, view of things, and this is why I'm saying that there should be a common vision where to head. If everybody in this pool, networks of networks is, pointing into a different direction, and you don't, there's no synergy, you're not making use of the strength that the whole team has, right? So each country has certain priorities, and they don't have to be equal at all. But each country needs to get a piece out of the whole effort, right? And those goals and sub-goals have to be very clear from the beginning. So it could be that your main goal for a certain university is to train their workforce, to adapt to the new reality that everything is going to be automated, right? Or it could be something else, but those goals have to be clear and not equal. They don't have to be equal.
Professor Jennifer?
Yeah, I'd just like to add to what you're saying. I think many research-intensive universities around the world are now recognising the importance of impactful research, and it's research that will benefit a number of countries, rather than having their strategies to increase publications and things like that. They're really now supporting and providing opportunities for research that will benefit a number of countries. I think so. We see those strategies really starting to change in the universities that are research intensive.
Bapak Professor, any comment on that?
Yeah. In this opportunity, I would like once again to stress the impacts of status of WCU ranking, which I said that is very significant, especially for Indonesian universities, because that's a reflection of reputation, global visibility, and then ability to attract academics and students, ability to attract funding, international partners, staff and student morale, marketing tool of institution, guide to identification of international partners. And facing this problem, I consider there are so many problems should be considered. First of all, about the stringent requirements of WCU cover several performance indicators as a tool of measure in teaching, staff-student ratio and institutional income, research, volume, income and reputation, citation, research influence, international outlook, international to domestic student staff ratio, international collaboration, and industry income. Not a single Indonesian university, I can tell you, that is in the top of the best university of WCU, despite having the most higher education institution across Asia. I think the real challenge is the higher education management. I consider that the higher education management is very important, particularly it's right sizing those extremely large number of universities and improving their quality. And in this case, I'd like to point also the favorable governance. Favorable governance, I mean supportive regulation framework, your autonomy, academic freedom, leadership, strategic vision, culture of excellence, check and balance system between university senate and rector, and a private university, the role of governing board of the foundation cannot be ruled out to create a conducive academic environment. And then the other one is, I'm always optimistic, never pessimistic, but always realistic and rational, based on system thinking approach. This approach teaches us to consider values of purposive behavior, holism, interdependence, openness, value transformation, and control mechanism. And considering all instrumental input, environmental input, the role of subject, object, and method, we always thinking of intermediate target before trying to obtain final goals. Ladies and gentlemen, in fact, there is unequal treatment and financial support from governance, where the support to private university is very little, very low, comparing with the support to public universities, even though the functions are similar, namely to educate people and improving the welfare of society, as a reflection of community participation in education. Private university has to be fought independently in order to keep alive, while the support from private sector are very limited, especially only in short-term programs and not permanent in nature. Lastly, I would like to emphasize this inestimated wealth of campus which we have to be aware. First is about academic freedom, the freedom of teachers and students to teach, study, and pursue knowledge and research without unreasonable interference or restriction from law, institutional regulation, or public pressure. The second one is academic culture and on campus. It's actually the external manifest of the common values, spirits, behavior, norms of people and campus who are pursuing and developing their study and research. And the last one is intellectual honesty, a moral duty to be honest. The duty especially important when we share ideas that can inform or persuade others, knowing the truth, states and truth. That's very important as the wealth of the university before achieving or to obtain the WCO. Thank you.
Much time for Q&A. That's enough for time being. Thank you to our three distinguished speakers for sharing their views and precious time with us and providing astute answers to the questions. I hope the audience is pleased with the answers. Therefore, let us give a round of thunderous applause to them, all of them. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to wrap up the session with three key takeaways. Firstly, law and constitution is the fundamental foundation for the world-class universities, as without it, universities cannot develop, compete, and sustain their growth over time. They act like roots anchoring a big tree. Secondly, in the era of IR 4.0, innovation and digital economy, research centers cannot operate alone in silos, but rather develop world-class research centers through partnership and with governments and industries. Thirdly, universities must elevate their networking capability to a higher level to fulfill aspiration to become world-class university. Ladies and gentlemen, in brief, if Martin Luther King, the US rights proponent, once said, "I have a dream, we must all continue to dream big." To quote the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." So to realize our aspiration, the time to act is now. In fact, Professor Dr. Buya Hamka, an eminent Nusantara thinker, said that our task is not only to produce results, but also to keep trying, as in attempt we can develop opportunities to be successful. What remains important is that when there is a will, there is a way. As with strong intent, ambition, careful planning and strategy, as well as continuously praying for success, we will be able to propel our institution into world-class universities. Ladies and gentlemen, to end, allow me to quote a popular Indonesian tune or song, Keroncong Kemayoran, albeit with a change in the lyrics. Laju-laju perahu laju, laju sampai ke bumi Semarang. Boleh lupa kain dan baju, janganlah lupa untuk kita terus berjuang. Meaning, let us together strive for our institution toward building the world-class university, insyaAllah. Thank you very much. I pass back to the Master of Ceremonies. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you very much, Datuk Dr. Sabri bin Muhammad Sarif, for the super poetry and wise word. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to souvenir session. So please, Mr. Rector, Bapak Andi Krida Susila, to give souvenir to 3 speakers and moderator of the International Symposium today. The first is for Professor Muladi. Okay, please give big applause. Okay, so the next is for Associate Professor Jennifer Oxley. Okay, please give applause, ladies and gentlemen. The next for our third speaker today is Associate Professor Magali Coates for Boston University, USA. Okay, and the last, to our moderator today, Dr. Sabri bin Muhammad Sharif. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of International Symposium and Gala Dinner Building the World Class University, Tuesday, 9 July 2019. Yeah, before the closing ceremony, the last but not least, we still have one agenda. It is photo sessions. Okay. For Mr. Rector, 3 speaker, moderator today. Yeah, and all the professor today. Yeah, Professor Elena Naumova as the professor from Tufts University, USA. Professor Suchi Gopal, PhD, as professor from Boston University, USA. Professor Qingpeng Chu, PhD, as the professor from National Dongwon University, Taiwan. Professor Dr. Munir, as the professor from University of Southern Brittany, France. Associate Professor Ahmad Gaber, PhD, as Associate Professor from Geology Department, Port Said University, Egypt. Professor Dr. Ahmad